Good morning to everybody. Many thanks for the chance you are giving us to discuss with you about the university and about the future of Europe. And I would like to thank the President of EUA for remembering that I am, since September of this year, the President of the Italian Conference of Rectors in a very difficult time, as you can imagine, because you are living this time since many years. And before giving you the idea of what we are doing today at the European level in order to compare the systems and to improve them in a direction that may relaunch the university system as a whole, let me say that Europe started a few centuries ago from universities, and I think that Europe may recover and may find a vision again, starting again from universities. This is an idea that followed not from my opinion, but from the history, and we can learn from the history a lot. What we have done is to consider, to focus on the main elements of the university system and to compare them at the European level in order to understand which are the main drivers and the main behavior of the university across Europe. And we focus on the autonomy is a general concept, but also in the past, one of the features of the university across the world was the autonomy. Autonomy is an idea behind which we can find many elements, and we have studied and we have analyzed it thanks to the work that Thomas Esterman has done in Brussels and is still continue to do because it's an updating program. We have focused on the autonomy from the organization point of view, from the financial, staff, and academic point of view. When I mention staff, I mean recruitment, dismissals, and salary policies. And we have created a sort of autonomy scorecard that allow us to compare different systems. As you know, because we are all researchers, when you try to build up a model, not necessarily the model is exactly the reality, but is a starting point in order to better understand the reality. So we have realized this scorecard not with the aim of classifying in a rigid manner the university system and the country at which the university belongs to, but what we want to do is to put some points on the agenda in order to understand which are the positions of the single countries. When we start from the organizational autonomy, we have to learn many things. When I've been elected rectors in 2009, I was not informed about this kind of situation across Europe. And for me, the university system was an homogeneous system. I was not able to understand that there are many heterogeneity. And if we want to overcome such a crisis, if we want to lead out the difficulties, we need to understand which are the system. I like joking with myself and saying that if you copy from one is plagiarism, but if you copy from many is research. So Europe is so heterogeneous that we have to learn to copy from many in order to improve our system. So external members are now included in university governing body in the large majority of systems across Europe. And in some cases also external authorities are involved in the selection of these members. And in university, nearly all systems are free to create legal entity and decide on the academic structure, not necessarily in all the countries, but in the large majority. And finally, rectors are always chosen by the universities, although external authorities often have to confirm the appointment. In some cases, it's a sort of formal confirmation, in some other is not quite the same. And we would like to put at the end of each slide some arguments that may be faced during debate in the second part of this morning, and they may be of interest for the Greek system. One is the external candidates for leadership should be possible. I think that is a good thing in all the system, but also not only for external reasons, is because the second point, because the external member may convey a good view of the university system in the society. We need to stress the dialogue between university and society. The university system is a part of a society, is not something that is outside a society. And I think that we need more flexibility to decide on academic structure. We cannot compete without flexibility with other countries. And at the end of this kind of analysis, I know that you may be curious to go into details, but Thomas is here for you at the moment and can give you some details. But let me go to the final results. And we have decided to share the different countries into 3 clusters. The first one, the countries that are in organizational terms autonomous. That is the United Kingdom. I don't want to explain to you why United Kingdom is at the top of the autonomy in this sense. We have a second group of university, and we have the bottom line in terms of autonomy. And if you look at the position of Greece, you can see that this is only the first slide that I want to put to your attention, because the other will be in the same line. So in organizational terms, the Greece autonomy is very, very low in comparison to the other European countries. If we look at the financial autonomy, we can say that universities generally have block grant funding. They normally receive funding from the states or from the local authorities, such as in Germany, for instance. And surpluses can be kept in some cases, in the large majority of cases, in order to incentive the good management of the money, and money borrowed in a large majority of systems. But in practice, as you know, this is the theory, and you have to put theory into practice too. And in the practice terms, we have various limitations that reduce the autonomy in governing the fundings. And universities in most systems are able to own their own buildings, but often require an external permission to sell them. And finally, the situation is quite complex when we speak about the tuition fees coming from the students, but more in general, the universities tend to be more free to set tuition fees for masters and for non-EU students. Discussion for Greece, move from line item budget to block grants, and to be flexible to manage this block as you want, the capacity to keep surplus in order to save money for program and special projects, and balancing the effect of financial crisis. I will tell you at the end of this story that you cannot combine less funding and less autonomy. It's a hell, it's not a possible situation. When I speak about Greece, as you can imagine, I have in my mind also the Italian situation that is quite similar from this point of view. The scorecard regarding financial autonomy tell us that, again, the Greece system is in the bottom line. This is not a ranking of a university, is not the ranking of the country, is the ranking of the feature regarding autonomy, is another thing. Maybe if you are at the bottom, you are the best system, not necessarily a classification that gives you this is good and this is bad. I don't like the ranking in which you say good and bad without taking into account the condition and context that realize these results. Regarding staffing, recruitment procedures are less prescribed than before. In most systems, however, restrictions still apply to staff salaries, although these are less likely to be due to the civil servant status of university staff. The civil servant status of university staff prevent university to be more flexible from this point of view. And staff dismissals and promotion remain restricted in more than a half of the system studies. This is a general question that we have. Only in few universities you are flexible in promoting people, in incentiving, in motivating people from the salary point of view. And the financial crisis has strongly affected staffing policy, in the sense that the financial crisis for countries that suffered this crisis reduced significantly the flexibility in management staff, because you don't have turnover, you cannot recruit people, and you cannot motivate and incentive the good ones. And for Greece, try to discuss more about the flexibility to recruit academic and administrative staff, to decide on staff salaries, and to discuss the civil servant status. When the university were born in the history, we didn't have the civil servant status, but the university system were more flexible than is now today. Although now there is a must system that you have a large number of students, not a limited one. And in terms of staffing autonomy, as you can see, Greece, France, Spain, and Italy are the bottom of the ranking, so we are not free to govern the staff in our university. Last, the academic autonomy in Europe, overall student members are limited in nearly all systems. The universities still have little freedom in choosing quality and insurance mechanisms, and accreditation is still compulsory for bachelor's and master's program in a large majority of the cases. And in 2/3 of all systems, the language of instruction can be chosen freely. And one discussion regarding the aspect that you have to be more internationalized, and you have to internationalize classes in order to give to our students the best choice that they can do in order to live in a good environment. The discussion is about the more freedom to select student and more freedom to choose the language of instruction. Again, the academic autonomy scorecard position Greece in the bottom line, and so these are, of course, the results of a model. More in general, we can say that we have three kinds of countries. One is represented by the United Kingdom, maybe is a country not necessarily an European one from this point of view. One is we have some countries that are in an intermediate position, such as Portugal. Italy maybe is between this intermediate position and the Greece position, and then we have the last category of countries in which you have a very limited level of autonomy from many point of view. I don't pretend that we don't pretend that these results are a sort of law. Of course, they are preliminary. They are now improving also with the help of the universities, because the European University Association is an association that serves its member. But we want to stress this point, which are the main arguments through which we have to face with, and you will see from the Thomas speech the aspect regarding funding that are very, very interesting, because you have to correlate autonomy and funding, as I already mentioned before. If you live in a world in which you have a lot of money and a lot of autonomy, this is not in the earth, it's in the paradise, because you have plenty of money and you are free. But I don't pretend that we need to live in a paradise. I would say only that if you live in a world in which you don't have money and you don't have autonomy, is a sort of hell. So, and we are now living in that situation in many countries. Less money and less autonomy. What I want to ask to the governments is to create the condition together with the university system through which at least we can have, to overcome the crisis, a bit less money, but more and more autonomy. This is the fight, a responsible autonomy that the university, in particular in the weakest economy and in the weakest country, can do in order to overcome this crisis that I have already mentioned before. Europe started with university, and Europe can live again through the university. Thank you.